Hello everyone and welcome to our virtual open day for animal studies. So what we're going to go through is just a bit of information about the department, the courses that we offer, and then if you have questions and want to speak to a member of the course team, we'll be available in the chat function. So just as a bit of an introduction to our department, in 2016 we moved into a new purpose-built small animal care centre on the main campus at Hoffel, and in the animal care centre we've got a range of practical rooms and classrooms that you would work out of as students. So within our unit we've got a tortoise house, two exotics houses which we run kind of as a beginner and an advanced. So if you come to us with absolutely no knowledge, you would start with the beginners and then move on to the advanced species. We've got an aquatic room, a small mammal house, and also some outdoor exotic mammals. So within our unit, there's also a commercial dog grooming studio and a 22-bed dog kennel unit with a dog agility and walking area. So within our unit, we've got a range of species. So our exotic mammals include things like raccoons and wallabies. Our smaller exotic species include things like snakes and tortoises, frogs and lizards, and we've got small mammals, domestic species mainly too. So things like hamsters, rabbits, rats, and chinchilla. So if you come and you're a student with us, you'll gain some valuable experience working with all of these different animals. One of the things that we're really keen on in our department is making sure that students are industry ready. So you would learn about their husbandry routines and their unique needs to industry standards. So that prepares you really well for your future career in this sector. So at East Durham College, we are all about getting the best out of you as a student. So our college slogan is creating outstanding futures for a reason. And because of this, you can expect the following from East Durham College. So in our department, we have industry specialists as your tutors. So we've got quite a range of staff with different backgrounds who would teach across your courses. So we've got staff that are specialists in animal behaviour, staff that are specialists in exotic species, and staff that are specialists in things like dog training. You also get a dedicated progression coach, which is assigned to you at the beginning of the year and will follow you through the duration of your course, and they provide the additional pastoral support and some careers information as well. So as you get to the end of your course, you get information and guidance on what you're going to do next, whether that's staying with us as a student and progressing upwards, or going out into industry or higher education to do a degree. So we do have high expectations for our learners, and that results in good outcomes. So we monitor weekly your progress, attendance, attitude and behaviour. And we do have a disciplinary procedure for students that don't meet our expectations, but this should be very few people, and we can avoid that by monitoring what's going on week to week and meeting with you as a learner and discussing what's going on, whether you've got things that might affect your attendance or things going on outside of college that might affect your ability to be in, or your behaviour and attitude whilst you are in. And that's done through your course leader and your progression coach. So we also have an open door policy, so you can come and see us at any time. Particularly your progression coaches are available throughout the day when you're on campus, and also on days that you're not on campus, not on weekends, because they've got to have days off too, but any time through the week, your progression coach and course leader is available for you to speak to. We have a full and rounded programme of study, so I'm going to go into in a second, apart from your main course, the other things that you would do, but it's really important to us that we are producing students that are ready for industry and that you're able to go out there and get a job when you're finished. And we do provide additional specialist support, so anyone coming to us with any learning needs, such as dyslexia, we can provide specialist learning support throughout the duration of your course, and that again is done through your course leader and your progression coach when you come to us as a student. So the study programme that you would be looking at for animal, you work towards a full study programme, as we've said, and this includes your vocational qualification. So the main qualification that you're signing up for, whether that's level 1, 2 or 3. You also work towards maths and English if you don't already have a grade 4. So don't worry if you're coming to us and you think you might not achieve a grade 4 in maths or English, or you currently don't have one. There will be something that we can put into your study programme that will allow you to achieve those before you leave us. This is added on top of your timetable so that you can achieve those qualifications and either progress with us or go out into industry with those industry standard levels of maths and English. So as part of your study programme, you also have a tutorial each week. So you meet with the progression coach, which we have already mentioned, once a week and carry out pastoral syllabus. So this is things like the safeguarding information, things like prevent, careers, advice and guidance. And this is also an opportunity to discuss any issues you might be having whilst you're with us on your study programme. So alongside all of this, for our animal studies courses, all students have to have a work placement. So to achieve your full qualification, you need to have work experience, and this is mandatory for all courses to achieve. So it's a really key part of what you will do with us as a student. Now, the hours are different depending on the level, but everyone who comes to us for animal studies will have to do work experience. So the courses that we currently offer are a level 1 Diploma in Animal Care, a level 2 Technical Certificate in Animal Care, a level 3 Advanced Technical Diploma, and a level 3 Year 2 Extended Advanced Technical Diploma in Animal Management. So I'm going to go through a little bit of the entry requirements and what's involved for each of these courses. Don't worry if you see the entry requirements and think, I don't meet any of these, or you don't think that it's quite right for you, or you're not sure. There's be the opportunity to ask the course staff at the end of this presentation. So just going back to industrial placement and work-related learning. So as we've said, we need to ensure that learners are prepared for work by offering an exciting range of work-related learning opportunities. So although you have your work placement, we'll also look at providing some of this within your study programme. So some happens within our animal unit. We have things like guest lecturers who come in and give you a bit of an insight into the industries that you might want to go and work in. So we've got internal and external industry placements, and what we really want to do is develop those workplace skills and attributes whilst giving you that contact with employers through those visits, those guest speakers and some volunteering opportunities. So it's a really important part of your study programme is that you're in contact with industry and making those connections so that when you are ready to go out and get a job, you already know what kind of thing you want to do and who you need to be speaking to get there. So our work experience, as we've said, it's a mandatory part of your course, and the hours that you need to complete will depend on that course, which we'll go through in a second. So your work experience placement must be animal based, and this is really, really important. You need to be gaining practical skills in the industry, whatever that might be. So if you already know what sector of the industry you want to work in, whether that's exotics, whether that's domestics, whether it is something like dog training, it's worth starting to think about where you might pick up a work placement now, and try your best to get a placement that's based around the career that you are interested in currently. That's not to say that you have to, once you pick, if you decide actually that's not for you, it's not to say that you have to stay with that placement provider, as your placement hours for the year can be carried out with multiple providers. So if you wanted to do a term in a different placement, that's absolutely fine. However, you are asked to source your own placement. So if you're thinking about coming to us in September to start a course, it's worth having a look around now at what you might be able to pick up as a work placement, where you might be able to go and contacting those places and asking if they offer work placements currently, what kind of hours they can provide and what kinds of things you'll be learning on the job. If you struggle with work placement providers, we do have a work placement officer, and your course leader can offer suggestions, but you are responsible for sourcing that work placement yourself. So before you start any work placement, we do have to check for health and safety purposes. So by all means, you can volunteer between now and the start of the course. wherever you want to get that extra experience, but your official work placement where you'll collect your hours for us has to be checked before you go. And we do that when you get to us in September and we've got all of the details. So if you can come to us ready with your work placement, knowing where you want to go, we can get it checked as quick as possible and get you in collecting those hours, which are really important for you achieving your qualification. So whilst you're with us, you will do some practical, and it's really important to point out at this point that practical equipment and PPE, so your personal protective equipment, is essential. So if you don't have this when you join us, or you don't get this when you join us in enrolment, you won't be able to take part in any practicals until you do. So when you come to us in September to enrol, there's the opportunity to buy your kit. And your course leader will go through all of that with you when you come to us as a student and get your student card. So for practical classes, all students must have PPE, and as we said, these are purchased through the college at enrolment. We currently have, so our standard uniform for practicals is combat trousers in black or walking type trousers in black, steel toe cap boots, and a green polo shirt. That's for our animal units. As part of your course, you might be on the farm for some of your practicals, working with livestock species such as pigs, sheep and cattle. And for that, you would need overalls and steel toe cap wellies. Again, all of this will be available to purchase in the enrolment when you come to us. But it's really important that you have this and that you wear it to your practicals. So in addition to the equipment that you need, the uniform, we also have no jewellery or piercings to be worn on a practical session for health and safety reasons. If you are thinking about getting piercings, then make sure you do it in good time before you start so that you're able to remove them for the practicals. If students come to us and they can't take piercings out, unfortunately, they don't get to work with the animals. It's not a get out of practical free card. You do then have to do some of the more mundane tasks such as sweeping and mopping floors, dusting enclosures, but no direct contact with the animals because it's too dangerous. And in those practicals, if you've got long hair, this must be tied up for health and safety reasons. It's worth noting at this point that the awarding bodies that we run our courses through, City and Guilds, they have certain requirements about practicals and your capability to do it. So due to the practical nature of the compulsory course assessments, you must be physically able to carry out practical tasks by yourself after proper training. So once we've taught you how to do what you need to do for your assessments, you need to be capable of doing that yourself without aid from someone else. If this is something that you're concerned about at this point, please just mention it in the chat to one of the course team members and they'll be able to discuss any requirements that you might have. So if we start with the level 1 diploma in animal care, the entry requirements for this are 4 GCSEs at grade 3 or above, preferably one of those being maths or English, but that's not compulsory. So as long as you've got 4 GCSEs at grade 3 or above, we'll consider you for entry onto the level 1 diploma. So the work experience element of this course is 60 hours mandatory work experience in the animal sector, as we've said, and you are responsible for sourcing that placement yourself. So in terms of assessment on this course, there are 2 exams, one in health and safety and another in land-based, and the rest of the course is made up by written and practical assessments. So across this course, you would study a range of modules which include animal accommodation, safe and effective working practices and working in the land-based industry, which are your 2 exam modules, feeding and watering animals, animal handling and restraint, and animals in the wild. So everything apart from those 2 in the middle carries practical and written assessments, and the 2 in the middle are the exam-based modules. So following on from the level 1, we've got our level 2 certificate in animal care. And the entry requirements for this are 4 GCSEs at grade 3 or above, plus a grade 4 in either maths or English. So it's essential that you have one or the other at grade 4 for this course. Whichever one you don't have would be timetabled in on top of your vocational qualification and work experience, but you need at least one to be granted entry onto this level. So the work experience hours for the level 2 certificate are 150 hours work experience in the sector. Again, you're responsible for sourcing your own placement. But these 150 hours can be done across the year at multiple placement providers if you want. What we do try and do is in the spring term, we have a week where students can go out with a higher hour courses, so 150 upwards. We have a week where students can go out and get a chunk of work experience all at once to try and boost those hours up. Or there is the option of doing 1 day a week in a placement. So in terms of assessment for the level 2 certificate, there are exams and written tasks. Some of those exams are written, some are practical, and then obviously you've got your written assignment based assessments. So there's a health and safety exam at level 2, and then we've got what we call our synoptic assessments and exams. So this course is a technical certificate, which means that you sit a formal synoptic exam which covers the content of a range of modules. So modules that you cover include things like care of exotic animals, working in the animal care industry, animal behaviour and handling, health and safety, animal feeding and accommodation, and animal health and welfare. So that synoptic exam covers a range of topics from within those modules, and you're assessed in a holistic way, which means that we're checking, and the awarding body are checking, that you can piece together how feeding might affect behaviour and the other way around, and how that might then have a knock-on effect on health and welfare. So there's a formal written exam, which is like a traditional sitting in an exam hall type exam. And then there's the synoptic assessment, which is a mix of, it's a test of your practical and written skill. So you'll do some practical assessment and be asked to write up that practical, whatever it might be that year. We then have specialist unit assignments. So for some modules such as care of exotic animals, that's not included in the synoptic assessment, and there are separate written tasks to cover those units. So moving on from the level 2, we've got a level 3 advanced technical diploma in animal management, and the entry requirements for this are 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or above, including maths, English and science. So this course would be our A-level equivalent course, or the equivalent to the first year of A-levels. So work experience for this course is 150 hours, again in the animal sector, where you're responsible for sourcing your own placement, and that's exactly the same as the level 2. You'll have the opportunity to go 1 day a week, or there will be a slot in the spring term usually, where students have got the opportunity to go out and gain a chunk of work experience. So assessment for the level 3 is very similar to the level 2. So there's still that synoptic exam and synoptic assessment, which includes the practical. There's a health and safety exam again, and then specialist unit assignments. The difference at level 3 is that there are more units to cover, and they're in a greater depth than the level 2 would be. So modules that are included on this course include health and safety, animal behaviour, biological systems, animal health and husbandry, work-related experience, animal nutrition and feeding, and business management. So as you can see, there's quite a bit more in this course than there is in the level 2. So following on from the level 3, what we've just looked at there is what we would call year 1. The level 3 has got a second year, but progression's not automatic. So this would be the equivalent of your second year of A-levels, but you have to apply again after the end of your first year, and depending on how you've performed in that first year depends on whether you would get a place on the second year. So it's really important, when we talked before about high standards for attendance, outcomes, punctuality, behaviour, it's really important that you have a high level of attendance, good behaviour, good punctuality, so that you can be considered to move up a level or onto the second year. So the level 3 extended advanced technical diploma in animal management is the second year of the level 3 essentially. So entry requirements for this is the successful completion of all the elements of the year 1 course, and that includes the work experience. So if you don't get those 150 hours, not only would you not pass that first year, but you wouldn't be granted entry onto the second year of the level 3. So when we get to second year, we have 2 pathways. We've got a management pathway and a science pathway. So depending on which one you think you fall into, you would study slightly different modules. So this is assessed in the same way, so synoptic exam and synoptic assessment, health and safety, and specialist unit assignments. And the work experience is slightly less at this level, so 70 hours, but we would recommend that all students aim to get 150 because it's just a benefit when you're going out into industry and you're applying for jobs. If you've got that 150 hours across both years, you put yourself in a good position for employment. So on the management pathway, we've got modules such as pet store design and management, kennel and cattery management, estate skills, investigative project, and on the science pathway, we've got modules such as chemistry for biological technicians, cell biology and genetics, biochemistry and microbiology, and investigative projects again. It's really important to say at this point that that investigative project is the opportunity for you to pick something that interests you, something that you've enjoyed across your 2 years, and investigate it in a little bit more detail. So this is preparing you for higher education. If you wanted to go on and do a degree, it's your opportunity to carry out a project on your own with support from your tutor into a subject that you enjoy. So it's a little bit like a mini dissertation, which you would do as part of a degree programme. So there are courses. What I just want to talk about now is progression. So if you were to do a course with us, what the possibilities are after you finish that course. So we do have internal course progression. So if you started with us on a level 1, depending on your performance and you passing the course, you would be considered for progression onto the next level up. So 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, but that is dependent on your performance whilst you're with us on the course that you start with. And that progression is not automatic, as we've said. So it is really dependent on your performance. Your tutors will recommend or not recommend you to go on to the next level, depending on all of these factors. So career opportunities, the typical industries that our students would go into from these courses are things like kennel and catteries, veterinary care assistants, pet store type sectors, animal technicians working either in something like our own animal care unit or in laboratory settings, RSPCA and welfare workers, and wildlife officers or rangers. And there is, after level 3, that opportunity of progression to university, so to go on and do a degree in a related subject, such as animal welfare and behaviour or animal science. So I just want to show you a video about our department now. This is available on the website, but I thought it would be a nice opportunity for you to see a little bit more of our animal unit and some examples of students that we currently have on courses and what they think about what we do.
I want to work for an animal charity. I want to be an RSPCA officer. I want to go to university to study animal behaviour.
I chose to come to Durham College because
it has a lot of opportunity and choice.
I really love animals.
The animal care course at East Durham College is amazing because there's such a variety of opportunities,
as well as a hands-on approach to teaching.
Whatever level course the students are doing, they will always have practical days, and the practical days involve working with the range of animals.
We have the small animal care unit where there's a range of exotics and small mammals, and then we have the raccoons and the wallabies.
We'll work with the animals, the pigs, the sheep.
It's important to get that diversity because you have to have knowledge of all animals.
Everyone sort of has a specialism, can build on that, and they get the best experience.
It's not all practical. We do a lot of classroom work.
But that's really good because it gives us a good balance.
We get them ready for university through theory, whereas when you're at uni, you don't tend to get the practical experience. Every day is different when you're working with animals, and getting that experience is really valuable for them.
We can choose where we want to do our own work experience.
For this year, I went into a dog groomers, which I love.
We do have careers that have stemmed from their work placement. So, for example, Beamish, we have students going out to there, and then they've actually got jobs out of that as well.
The staff are great, they're really supportive.
We're really passionate about animal care and making sure our students are well prepared for their futures.
Light bulb moments happen every day with students. It's really nice to see them suddenly click and learn things.
I feel like I belong here a lot more.
Being at East Durham College makes me feel ready to go to university.
It's opened my eyes to different jobs and careers I can have. I want to be a dog handler.
I want to work in marine biology.
I want to work for an animal charity.
I don't know what I want to do, but I know where I want to start.
Okay, so hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight into the animal unit, into the types of things that our students want to go on and do. So just a couple of additional bits of information before we finish. So as a student at East Durham College, you are entitled to free bus travel to and from college on any Arriva bus service. So your student card that you would get when you enrol would give you free passage onto the buses on any Arriva bus service to and from college. We have our own East Durham College buses which travel around the local area, but you can get on any bus if one of those doesn't come past where you live. This is something that you can chat to the course team about, and also student services, and the college can reimburse you if you need to use other bus services to get to us as well. So that's everything for animal studies. If you do want more information about courses, anything to do with the college, we have got the live chat on our website now where the course team will be available to answer questions. But if you do think of anything after tonight, you can contact student services. The information is there, and there's a phone number and an email address, or you could just ring the main Hoffel campus for animal studies. If you googled it, it would just come up and they'll be able to put you through to one of the team.